Hi, I must be getting old. When I was growing up, if you wanted to eat in a Chinese restaurant, you had to go to China. A takeaway was a mathematical problem, a tranny was a transistor radio, wicked meant really bad. There were two genders. We didn't have to worry about jabs and tests and form filling to get through to travel throughout the whole of Europe, and that was before the common market, which for you youngsters is what evolved into the EU. Telephones were attached to the network by a wire coming out of the wall, and you couldn't take photographs with it. Television was black and white. Not everyone had one. And you had to switch it on 5 minutes before you wanted to watch it because it had to warm up. And ours had a 9-inch screen. And there were only 2 channels. We went out to play with real friends, and communities looked after the kids, and we felt safe. Schools and universities taught us how to think, not what to think. And teachers kept their religious and political beliefs to themselves. And so much more. I have seen many changes throughout my life, some good and some bad. But what I fear most is that we are losing that sense of community cohesion, that willingness to debate rather than argue, and that willingness to respect the point of view of others, because without that, we would not have seen some of the social changes for the better, including the huge fall in racism, the huge fall in anti-Semitism in the UK since the 40s, the huge advances in gender equality since the 60s, the acceptance of the gay community since the 70s. What we see now, particularly from certain quarters, is hatred and intolerance of people whose views do not agree with yours, including deplatforming anybody that you have media control over. That way leads to further intolerance and more violence. It leads to riots and the burning of businesses. It leads to the polarisation of ideas. In short, it leads to the kinds of division that came bubbling to the surface in Europe in the 1930s, and which the free countries, not least our own, made huge sacrifices to stop. Britain bankrupted itself to defend the whole of the free world against that kind of tyranny, together, of course, with its empire and with the United States and various other people who helped out. But Britain stood on its own, don't forget, for 2.5 years. But that kind of tyranny is now coming back, and we are letting it happen. Think about that.